Welcome back to my channel. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is Brittany and this is my channel, Be the Little Light. And if you are a returning friend, hi, how are you? This is actually my second time recording this video, which is just great. Luckily, I only was 3 cards into the video when I had to restart. So I sat with it and Spirit was like, let's continue with the same message because I was like, should I just scrap it? But actually, it's very fitting how everything just happened because it goes into the theme that I was talking about. So, as always, this message is timeless and it serves as illumination, confirmation, and just general guidance for a beautiful collective. Please remember, just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If this doesn't resonate with you, if you are not a fan with how I speak, the types of words that I use, how I channel, that is perfectly fine. There are so many other beautiful readers. I'm sure you can find one that you love, and there's no need to, there's just no need. Then just fly on. Just fly on. So, thank you for all the likes and the comments and the subscriptions. And the subscriptions, by the way. Anyways, so the theme was going within yourself, having that introspective time. So the first card that I pulled was Soul Solitude. And this is like connecting into your center, which seems to be a recurring theme individually as well as collectively. It's like your highest self, your soul, is wanting and is in constant communication with you, but wanting a deeper connection so that you are able to discern the difference between what is your soul's voice, your highest self's voice, and the voices of things outside of you. And what I was seeing was you, beautiful viewer, you have a very specific frequency. You have a very specific station, like a very specific radio station number. Let's say you are 97.5. You are 97.5. And other stations are different numbers, and it could be 97.6, but it's not 97.5. Sometimes, a lot of times, you are picking up broadcasts from these other stations, but by you taking the time to connect in with your own divinity, with your own self, with your own soul, you are able to discern what's the difference between other people's broadcasts and yours. And that right now is more important now than ever with what is going on collectively, what's going on with our planet, what's going on with the energetic shifts and the divine reorganization that is happening and will continue to happen on our planet. It also talked about, there was this message here about listening, to be a better listener. And this is something that not everyone has a mastered skill of listening. And listening is not just by hearing the words that people say, it's also about reading in between the lines. For example, you can ask your friend, "How are you doing?" And they tell you, "I'm fine." But you can sense that something is off. It's reading in between the lines, reading the energy, reading the room. By using your other senses, not just using your auditory senses, but all your other senses. And the more that you tap into your own divinity, the more that you connect in with your highest self, your soul, your essence, the more that your other senses are going to be stronger. There's also this message about perfectionism, never feeling like something is either the right time and the right way that you are wanting it to happen, or also having such a very specific manifestation in mind at a very specific dot on the time-space continuum that you're like, this is exactly what I'm wanting to manifest, but having such a clear picture to the point where it actually inhibits your highest and greatest good, because sometimes the reason why something is not working out in a very specific way at a very specific time in a very specific package that you are wanting, it is because that's actually not what's best for you. Meaning that there's actually something better in a different way at a different time in a different form that's actually even better than what you are requesting right now. And it goes back into your soul, your essence, your highest self. Your highest self knows all of your wants, desires, dreams, hopes, wishes. Simultaneously knowing what is in your ultimate best interest, because your highest version of you is everything you have ever been. So it has experienced you across all time, across all reality. And so, therefore, your highest self has very valid, your highest self has very valid reasons for steering you in certain directions. And I feel like sometimes you're feeling guided to certain things, but then because you have a certain attachment to certain things being a certain way, there's a resistance there. And that resistance slows down the flow, one, but also that resistance is an indicator of something not being quite ready or not being quite right. It's like that resistance shows that there's a disruption in the frequency, which is actually an indicator of, hey, this is not exactly aligned in your best interest at this time. Let's try a different route, or let's try a different time, or let's step back altogether and trust that we can circle back to this at a better time, at a later time. And it goes back into the wall that I always talk about. A wall that you can't see around, but you are being asked to have faith that what's on the other side of the wall, which represents what you are not capable of seeing at this time, trusting that what's behind that wall is actually even better than what you are asking for, than what you are requesting, but is ultimately exactly what you want within your heart, within your soul to experience. And it's keeping your standards high and wanting the best for yourself, but also being real with, you don't always know what's best for you, because sometimes there's these invisible things that you can't see, that you're not aware of yet, because you don't know what you don't know. But later things will make sense. And I know that can be very annoying to hear, but that really is the overarching message. And having trust that everything will meet at the exact fated divine point that it was meant to, orchestrated to, ultimately in your highest and greatest good. There was the message about the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is literally that. It's the way that doesn't feel like such a struggle. Because if something feels like it's such a struggle to make it work, that's a very big clue. That's an indicator of something not being quite right. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that thing is not for you. It may just be the time. It may just be the direction. It may be the form. However that applies to you. But the path of least resistance is just that. It's the path that feels more effortless. Things just magically finding their way to you, solutions, people, connections, showing up right in front of you. That's the path of least resistance, and that is the indicator that you are going in the direction that is not only for your highest and greatest good, but a direction that's less of a struggle. I'm going to connect in with the energy of the fairies. What is the message for a beautiful viewer? Find balance. Find the balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. It's funny because when I filmed the first time, I talked about how I took a 2-hour nap today and how I was so exhausted. And sometimes you just need to take a nap. Sometimes you just need to take a nap. And sometimes you need to take a nap so that you will have more of an incentive to then continue to do, you know, what you're wanting to do that day. And that's where that balance is. Wanting to come through more in your life is not overextending yourself, not just going all the time. Because also if you're going all the time, then you're not making time to tune in with yourself. Because if we're going all the time, a lot of times you are actively tuned in to other people's radio stations. There's this message of, so we have this purity card. Purity and flourish. Trusting in your intentions. Trusting that the things that you want, that they're for a reason. Because a lot of guilt can come up of when, especially when things are not manifesting in the exact time, shape, form that you are wanting. Sometimes you can feel like there's something you're doing wrong, that you're not worthy of it. And this is really that reminder that you are worthy of, you're more than worthy of all the things that you were asking for. to just be aware that there's a specific time at play, and that's God's time, the divine's time. But trusting that when it is time for these specific things to arrive in your life, that it's going to be everything you've asked for and more. We have nature's signs. Making that time to connect in with nature, of course, but it's like there are things that are always presenting themselves as messages, as omens, as reminders, as what you would consider synchronicities. They are always trying to get your attention. So the more that you recognize them, acknowledge them, the more that they're going to continue to show themselves to you. You might be seeing butterflies, or you could, just be seeing your favorite animals, your favorite, what you consider your spirit animals. And how do you know what this means? You know what this means. A bird to you might mean something different than a bird to me or a bird to your best friend. And it's trusting what comes up in your heart space. And the second that you hear that doubt coming in your mind of, listen to the first voice. Because the first voice, the first thought, is more aligned with your soul. I'm just feeling like a quiet energy. It feels very quiet. And the first time that I filmed this video, I was mentioning how I myself was noticing this call to be introspective, even just within my day-to-day. Really feeling that need to hermit and really withdraw myself from others. And the moments that I had in silence, I really dove into that. And I'm just feeling a very quiet energy. Quiet, calm. Like finding your own. It's really important for you to find your own quiet within yourself. Because the external, there's always going to be something loud going on externally. And that is also why I stopped filming the video. And I could have just kept going like I have many times, but in that moment I did get overwhelmed, and I was like, okay, let me just recenter myself. And you might be experiencing something very similar where, let me just pick up this card really quick. Oh. Might be experiencing something similar where there's so many things going on in the world and the news and all the things, that there's really a lot that's asking of your attention. And it's just so important now more than ever to really make that time within your day, making it a priority even if it's for 5 minutes, to be able to tune in with yourself. There's definitely this message about your own intuition. Your own intuition, your own third eye. Some of you might need a little, some of you might need a little break. Because I have this staycation card. And it's like, even if you don't feel that you're able to exactly have a staycation, doing something within your day or on your days off that's going to replenish you, nourish your soul, fill your cup back up, have a reset, but also finding many ways to do this every day, so that you can continue each day being refreshed and not burning yourself out because you're overextending yourself in any area. There also is this message here about tapping into your sensuality, your sacred sexuality. And that doesn't have to just mean physical intimacy with another, but your own sensuality, your own essence, and really tapping into the energy of pleasure, doing things because they feel good for you, which goes back into that staycation message of doing things just for the sake of doing them because they feel good. It's that whole romanticizing your life thing. And the more that you do that, is the more that you're going to be able to attune to the things that you are wanting to manifest and the things that are really waiting to come into your life and are just requiring a specific frequency for you to be emitting so that you can align to those desires, people, places, things. It does feel like you may feel like something is missing from your life right now. And there also is this message about winter being a significant time. And there's this message of you might feel like something, even if you feel like you're missing something from your life, don't just be so desperate to manifest something that you compromise your values, you compromise your values, your integrity, your ethics. Because just hanging on to something for the sake of just having something is not in your best interest and it's not fair to you. So making sure that you stay really aligned with your own values, your own ethics. And you are definitely asking to be flexible, and I feel like this is going again with the things that you are wanting to manifest. You are being asked to be flexible in the sense of being open-minded, and that has everything to do with being in the flow. Being open-minded and being in the flow go hand in hand, and that's that gateway to ultimately going exactly to the things that you're trying to bring into your life. It's asking you to be mutable. Mutable in a way that you are still being 100% yourself, but you're just being more open to seeing things, experiencing things differently than your usual. And that is where these surprises and these blessings are going to show up at your door. Okay, what is the advice? I'm gonna pull, these are gonna be the final cards. What is the advice for a beautiful collective? What is the advice? It just feels very quiet. Very quiet. I'm hearing don't be afraid of the quiet. So, and sometimes things are really quiet right before things shift really quickly as well. And your inner essence, your soul knows and anticipates things coming. And that's why sometimes it'll seem like things are quiet, or almost it feels, it's not actually the case, but it can feel like kind of nothing is moving, like everything paused for a moment. And that a lot of times is right before a big shift comes in. We have this message here about savoring pleasure. Doing things for you that go all into that self-care box. Doing things because they just feel good for you. Doing things without having this expectation of like, I'm going to do this thing because it feels good and then it's going to get me $1 million. It's like just doing it because it feels good, and then not having any expectation other than just doing it because it feels good. And doing more of those things is going to help you attune your frequency to align you to the things that you are ready to call into your life. I'm getting this beautiful, like as I'm looking at this card, I'm getting this beautiful like tingling feeling in my crown, and it's euphoric, it's delicious. Stepping into stillness. You guys, my power is born in the mystery of silence. You guys, you need to shut the fuck up a little bit. Shh. How's that for a video title? Yeah, you guys are just being guided to shut the fuck up a little bit. I know it is hard because right now we more than ever we're so tapped into all these things that it's just everything. We wake up and it's just everything's so loud. I get it. I get it. I'm not excluded from this conversation. I am a part of the collective too, and I am also being asked to quiet things more so I can hear my own divinity. So the final card. Let's get the final card for our friends. Okay, Spirit, we're not doing all those. Come on, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me in front of my friends. Spirit, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna grab that, but I'm not grabbing all of those. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna grab that from the bottom and that from the top. Okay, Spirit, thank you. Okay. Yeah. So, hearing messages from Spirit, that again goes into all the signs you may be seeing in nature, feathers on the ground, certain flowers that remind you of people that are no longer living, butterflies, coins, etc. Whatever certain things are that remind you of certain people or remind you of certain things, yes, those are messages specifically for you. Believe it, trust that first instinct that comes up. They are literally specific messages trying to get your attention. Let go, babes. This is the path of least resistance, and this is also being in flow. They're not swimming against the current and trying to go into a wave that is much harder. They are swimming down the stream, going with the flow in the direction where the water is naturally guiding them to go. And they are finding these beautiful treasures along the way. Expect miracles, because these things are not only wanting to manifest into your life, you deserve them, but you just have to attune your frequency to them by being open. By tapping into your pleasure, by tapping into your sensuality, because tapping into your sensuality allows your essence, your divinity to really come through. When your divinity really comes through, your human self, it's like you lighting this very loud, beautiful, multi-dimensional rainbow beam frequency. And that frequency is like, oh, all these things in the ethers that have your name on it that are waiting for you. It's like, oh, they're ready. Okay, let me shimmy on down over to them. Let me swim on down over to them. And then at the bottom, we have opening to love. My heart is open. And also, look, they're on the water. They're in the flow. This message here about flow, stillness, silence, sensuality, tapping into your sacred sensuality. And expecting that the best is coming for you, because it absolutely is. You just gotta shift. You just gotta shift your perspective a little bit. And be a little quiet. Maybe make some ASMR content. I don't even know if that's making any sound. And I think that that's a beautiful place to leave this reading on. I'm gonna be quiet. You're gonna be quiet if you feel guided to. Thank you for tuning into this reading with me. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for allowing me to just be here. I'm here, but thank you for allowing me to connect into beautiful, like-minded people who just don't care that I'm weird and are like, hey, you're cool. And I'm like, hey, thanks, you're cool too. I'm wishing you nothing but the best.